quote this on me. There is no way the Orioles or Red Sox make the playoffs this season. There's no way. There's no way.
For me, I gotta build a snowman.
I don't think all Mavs fans look into the stats like I do.
I'm mixing names, swapping pitchers' names, and everyone today. So thanks for catching me.
I've given up on Drew Lock. I think you trade him.
I set the bar really low at the NBA predictions.
How are we talking about the Thunder in a MLB preview? I have no idea.
That's a perfect name. What you said, name brand players. Like, it's not the great value Target brand toilet paper or whatever. It's the Charmin Ultra Strong.
I don't know if Nick Nurse is the coach for the Raptors. I don't know if he's the reason why they won the 2019 championship. I feel like that was more of a team effort. Yeah, this questions the firing of Dwayne Casey, who I think is a very underrated coach. He's making the best of the Detroit Pistons situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I was surprised that the Clippers gave up Lou Williams.
Everything's going wrong for the Lakers at the wrong time.
The Mavs cannot say we do not miss Seth Curry shooting threes.
Them losing like 40 players to the Chargers who play online.
I'm just gonna, and it lands to the Dolphins. I'm just gonna have to throw my hands into the air.
I agree 100%, and the reason why I agree is because this is a terrible trade for the long term.
To me, the Capitals really pushed all their chips for this season. So happy belated birthday to Madison Bowie.
Sam Bennett's someone I really expected to be a better player.
Hello, I'm Mike Grimes, and you've been listening to Outsiders Opinions with Kevin and Austin.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to our MLB ALDS and NLDS review, and then ALCS and NLCS preview. So let's just talk about Boston versus Tampa Bay. Boston upsets one of us again, this time me, as I had the Rays beating them, but Boston does it, and Boston's continuing to believe in themselves and prove everyone wrong about what they thought of Boston this season. What do you think, Austin?
Yeah, Boston can hit, and they've proven it throughout this series. I'm really surprised that this turned out the way it did. Randy Arozarena continued to perform exceptionally, and it just turned out that he could not carry his team.
And what about that Kevin Kiermaier throw to keep the Rays in it in the final game when he got out Verdugo?
Again, I couldn't tell if his hand slipped off the bag or not. So I'm totally fine with it. Again, it's going to be really close calls like that, and wherever it goes, whatever the call is on the field, you have to go with it when it's a play that is that close.
Yeah, very true, but also just an incredible throw, and that Rays defense is just incredible. But maybe since they're so young, the Rays keep these guys like Randy Arozarena and build up that playoff veteran, like playoff experience in their team, so then they can maybe go farther in the playoffs, as they did go to the World Series last year, but before that they didn't really make it that far.
Yeah,
So,
I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if the Rays make some major changes. We've seen that they don't really like to pay players all that much, and that may be the cause of their demise, or maybe they get it done later on with some of their prospects that are coming up. Wander Franco is a really, really good player, and I definitely expect him to be a all-time talent. But it's definitely going to be a hard season for a team that, I mean, they're in the same division as the Yankees and Boston, for that matter, who both spend a lot more than the Rays.
they also did this without Tyler Glasnow, as he's out, but still, maybe we could see him, but I doubt it. I think they just stay the course they are at now. But now I think we can go to Houston versus Chicago. Houston advancing to their 5th straight ALCS. That hurts to say, especially when I had Chicago winning. The pitching just fell out. Lance Lynn did not do well in the first game. I think maybe the best pitcher that did well was Gaelito. And didn't he only go like 4 innings?
Yeah.
And then Rodon. And then, of course, Ryan Tepera said like Houston was cheating. Even though I wish that was the case, I don't think there's much merit to it. What do you think?
We won't know. Maybe they do another investigation. I don't think they're cheating. It'd be very, very, very hard to cheat after you've been proven as a cheater before. So, I mean, I honestly believe they haven't cheated again, but we'll never find out until the league does another investigation or something to that effect. But I honestly won't be surprised if the White Sox also make some big changes. I don't think Kimbrel's going to be back. Um, Kopech did not pitch well, even though I do think he'll be back because he's a good young player. But they need to make it happen. They brought back Tony La Russa, which I'm not really all that surprised with, considering that they had a resurgent season. But I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if I see some big moves from a team that's going to try to win now.
Speaking of Kimbrel, rumor is that the Chicago White Sox are expected to pick up the $16 million option. But that's just a
Wow.
rumor. And then the other rumor is then trade him during the winter, but that doesn't really make sense. So they probably don't pick up the option, but it is a very intriguing situation to look at because of what they gave up for Kimbrel. Because
Yep.
they gave up
Nick Madrigal.
Madrigal. Yeah. So, and it was, if they let go of Kimbrel, that's basically a 1 year, that's a rental. And you gave up a very enticing second baseman that is going to be across the ballpark playing for the Cubs.
I I thought that trade. I didn't like the trade. You know that because I believe that they already had pieces in place to be a great team. And I did not think it was necessary because of that. I thought they had enough relievers and everything, and they really got bit in the ass because of it.
Yeah, it's very true. So now Houston, just a good job on them with their pitching, and I guess their hitting. Just hurts to say, and it just shows how good the Astros are, but they're always going to have that stigma of how they cheated to get their one World Series, and that's their fault.
Oh yeah, it's definitely their fault. Um, a lot of Houston fans come out, people who are like me and really hate what they did that year. But I mean, it's their fault. There's nothing really we can do about it. And I mean, if you cheat, like I just said, it's your fault. I'm not gonna forgive him about it, mainly because there's people like Shoeless Joe Jackson who I don't think cheated, but he's out of the Hall of Fame. Pete Rose bet on games as a manager, and he's probably one of the top 10 hitters ever, at least contact wise, and he's not in the Hall of Fame. So how am I supposed to respect these guys if those same dudes are not given the same level of respect? I think the 2017 World Series should be vacated, and Houston should be back to 0 rings. I think all those players that cheated, I've now found out that Jose Altuve did not cheat. I've heard that he was one of the few players that did not use the trash cans and everything, which I'm honestly happy about since it makes the Judge MVP, even though it should have obviously been Judge, even if he didn't cheat. Uh, but it makes it easier to take. However, the Dodgers and the Yankees are the best team that year, and we never really got to see the true World Series matchup. And man, would that have been a great series! And between two huge markets in New York and LA, the two biggest cities in North America, going at it for a chance to win the World Series. And I would have loved to see best season Judge with one of the best seasons from Cody Bellinger, and Yu Darvish would have been on that team. I mean, that would have been a World Series for the ages. And the fact that we got cheated out of it, it hurts. And I'm never really going to forgive the Astros for that ever. And I don't say that I hate many teams, because I wouldn't even say I hate the Red Sox. I have a lot of dislike, but I have a lot of respect for the Red Sox because I know what it means to be a team that a lot of people hate. as I'm a Yankees fan, but I my team didn't cheat, so all my 27 are legit, and your one is cheated. So I don't know.
Also could have saved Girardi his job because
Oh,
that's
100%. Girardi would still be here. He would still be the manager if we had won a World Series that year. And I honestly think we'd have beat the Dodgers, but who knows? The Dodgers could have beat us. I'm not going to stand here and say that we would have won. It would have been a great series. Um, we hadn't lost at home yet, but they would have had home field advantage. So if we won all our home games, we still would have had to win one on the road. I don't necessarily know if that would have happened, but with Didi Gregorius, Aaron Judge, Brett Gardner having one of his best seasons, Todd Frazier having one of his best seasons, we still had CC Sabathia, Luis Severino. Man, our roster was amazing. We would have rolled Chapman in his prime right after he won a World Series with the Cubs. I wish we could have it back. I wish we could. And I think the MLB, because we can't have it back, should take away that championship. And I know Astros fans are mad about that, but there's nothing else you can really do. You cheated. There's no right way to say it. Um, and I know this is just every time we talk about Houston, this is going to come up because I'm never going to get over it. Because
I'm
yeah,
also going to just bring it up because the Astros are my rivals, so I have a thing against them that I can use. Like I can't use the Rangers beating them because that's going to be a while. So I just got to use the trash can.
didn't you guys like destroy them like 10-2 in a game though earlier this year, like
Yes, but
14-1? Like
we got killed in the I think they call it like the Texan Classic or whatever. Like between that, like
yeah.
we did not do well, but I just used the trash cans until the Rangers do get good and when Houston becomes bad again, which I think is going to happen.
Oh, obviously it's going to happen. I think it could be as early as next year, considering the fact that Carlos Correa and others are going to be leaving from that team. Correa's not going to be back. He doesn't want to be for a team that's known for cheating. And every person that was on that team is going to be hated for the rest of their career. It does not matter where they go.
I think
And
Altuve stays, no matter what.
I don't know. I could see it, but I could also possibly see him leave. Um, it's hard to have credibility. I don't think any Houston Astros player will make that's on the 2017 team. Any player will make the Hall of Fame. None of them.
So that includes Verlander.
Wow, that does include Verlander. Wow.
Maybe like hitters.
Yeah, that was exactly what I was about to say. Verlander didn't cheat. His team cheated, but you can't cheat if you're the pitcher.
Yeah.
You're right. That's a good point. That's a great point. We'll do hitters. I'll say hitters. That's all I'll do.
Yeah, Garrett. Well, yeah, it's still pretty early in Garrett Cole. But
Well, again, Garrett Cole's a pitcher. It's a
Well,
pitcher. The pitcher didn't cheat. They were using trash cans to hit, not to pitch. So their pitching was great, except when they were in New York. Obviously, when the New York Yankees kind of destroyed them there. But
Do you want to hear an interesting fact about Reddick, the
Josh
right
Reddick,
fielder? Yeah, Josh Reddick. Do you know what pick he was drafted with?
can you give me the round?
First round.
Oh, 17th.
No. It's pretty
First,
high. No.
5th.
Yes. Do you know who picked fourth?
The Rangers.
Yes. Do you know who they picked with? He is a former Yankee.
Can you give me the former Yankee that the Rangers picked? Did he play for the Rangers?
No.
Got it.
You traded him to I'm trying to find his draft year. But he was traded from the Yankees to the Orioles.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm. Traded to the Yankees. No, traded from the Yankees to the Orioles. From the Yankees to the Orioles. There's not many. Is it Steve Pierce?
Wait, am I? Oh, I'm looking at the wrong Josh Reddick. I'm pretty sure that I am correct on this. Do you want me to just tell you?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So I don't think it's Josh Reddick. because Josh Reddick plays for the Diamondbacks.
No, he doesn't.
There's a Josh Reddick that plays for the Red Sox, or was drafted by the Red Sox.
Josh Reddick plays for the Padres right now.
What Reddick am I thinking of? The right fielder for the Astros.
Yeah, that's the right one, but he plays for the Padres right now.
Who's the guy that plays right field for the Astros right now?
Not Josh Reddick. Right field?
Yeah.
Let me think. Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, Josh Reddick was drafted in the 17th round. I thought he was drafted like
Who am
in
I
the.
thinking of?
I don't know who you're thinking of.
Oh, it's Kyle Tucker.
Oh.
That's my bad.
Oh, wait. Why does Josh Reddick. Wait.
Okay,
I'm thinking of Jake Marisnick. Oh, that's the guy who went from the Astros to the Padres. There we go.
Okay. So Kyle Tucker, first round, 5th. Rangers were picking 4th. Do you know who the Rangers picked at 4th?
Steve Pierce.
No.
Oh, I don't know. Is it recent?
Yeah, it's 2015 draft.
Oh, Cedric Mullins.
No. Do you want me to tell you?
Ryan Mountcastle.
No.
Is he in the league?
Yes, he plays for the Orioles.
What's his name? Is he no. Let me try to get this by myself. Who's the other guy in the outfield? Is he an outfielder?
No.
Oh, well. He's currently on the Orioles. Is he a position
I think
player?
No, he's a pitcher.
Oh, okay. I was
I'm
not
trying to-
thinking pitcher.
He pitched for the Orioles. No, he's listed on there.
Oh, is it John Means?
No.
I could say Matt Harvey, but I know for a fact it's not Matt Harvey because Matt Harvey was drafted in like 2010. So
Yeah,
it's not
he's
Matt Harvey.
on their active roster. Do you just want me to tell you?
Sure.
Dylan Tate.
I've heard that name.
Yeah, we traded him to the Yankees. I think for who's that outfielder? I think Carlos Beltran. I'm pretty sure. But Dylan Tate was selected number 4. Yes, on August 1st, 2016, the Rangers traded Tate and fellow prospects Eric Swanson and Nick Green to the New York Yankees for Carlos Beltran. And so we could have had Kyle Tucker. So
Well,
that's
I mean,
just a sad Rangers fact.
well, you know what's an even sadder Rangers fact?
What?
Back in 2013, the Rangers drafted Travis Dermetti. Do you know who the Yankees picked at 32?
2013.
So at 23, the Rangers in 23 drafted Chichi Gonzalez, and at 20,
Oh my gosh, Chichi Gonzalez.
and then at 20, there we go. At 30, the Rangers via the Angels, yeah. So at 30, the Rangers drafted Travis Dermetti. At 23, the Rangers drafted Chichi Gonzalez, 2 first-round picks. Do you know who the Yankees drafted at 32?
I want to say Aroldis Chapman, but wasn't he a signing?
No. Aroldis Chapman was in the league before 2013. It was Aaron Judge.
Oh.
So Aaron Judge you had 2 chances to get him, and oof.
Yeah. But that was just my little fun fact from Houston. Now let's go to the NL. Oh, we gotta go to the NL and talk about the Dodgers versus Giants.
Let's talk about the other series
yeah,
first.
yeah,
Let's talk about Braves
yeah,
versus Braves before we get
Braves
into the
versus
chaos
Braves.
that is the other series.
Yeah. What a play by Freddie Freeman to hit that home run, and of course he's in the contract year. You have to bring back Freddie Freeman.
Oh, if you're an Atlanta manager or somebody in their front office, you have to think your plan number 1 when the offseason rolls around, no matter if they lose in the NLCS, lose in the World Series, or win the World Series, is to bring Freddie Freeman back, no matter what he's worth. He's the heart and soul of this team. Even with Acuna, He's the best player on the team, even with Acuna, as he won MVP last year. And I don't think I'm too out of my mind saying that. And they definitely have to bring him back.
Yeah, and it's just incredible what the Braves have done. Brewers, incredible pitching with Peralta, Burns, and
Woodruff.
Woodruff. I always forget Woodruff, don't I? And then you have Hader, but the hitting just could not do it. Yelich.
And that's really why you and I
Yelich is the one
predicted
that got
this.
struck out by Will Smith. That ended the game.
Yeah. That's why you and I had this pick in the first place, right? Because we didn't believe that the Brewers had hitting, and they proved us right.
Yeah, it's the only one I have gotten correct. Will get correct. Yeah, because all my teams are out. So
Sweet.
make
means
sure to
I
check out
win.
the predictions episode to see how that went. So Brewers, hopefully you have a healthy Yelich. Keep your pitching, and then you got to find some hitters outside of Yelich. Like you have Wong, you have Adames, maybe third base. Because Escobar is playing third base. Didn't they trade for Escobar?
Yes, from the Diamondbacks.
And then you have Can at center field. Right field. Maybe you could go after a right fielder or no. What do you think they do?
There's a lot of things that they have to do. They have a great catcher, great shortstop. Willie Adames and Omar Narvaez is the two players I just mentioned. It's going to be very drastic, whatever they do, in my opinion. They have to make moves, and to do that, you're going to have to let loose to some guys that are staples to your franchise.
Interesting. So now Braves, we've talked about them a lot. So now I think we can go to Dodgers and Giants. Giants came so close, and let's talk about that final, how that game ended.
Terrible. That's all I can say. It could not have ended worse. The MLB is trying to hurt itself sometimes. The umpire wanted to be the man of the match. He wanted to make the final call. And sad way to go out. If you're a Dodgers fan, I feel you. There's many times I felt like the Yankees have been cheated by umpiring. Even in that series against the Astros in 2017, there were many calls that I feel like the Astros are getting the benefit of the doubt on most calls. I think that twice in the wild card game, Kyle Higashioka and Joey Gallo did not go around, but they called him going around both times. I don't know why umpires are starting to say, "Oh, he went around." No, he didn't. Well, sure, he did because you said he did, but he didn't. And terrible way to end it. For all the Dodgers fans that are like, that for some, I hate how some fans get blinded because it went their way. Oh, he didn't go around. I mean, he went around. No, he didn't. Just admit that he didn't go around. I was rooting for the Dodgers. I wanted to win the playlist. Not the playlist, but the prediction. I wanted them to win. But not like that, man. I feel terrible because I love, you know me, I love baseball. One of my favorite sports. I don't really have a favorite sport in general, but I love all the four major sports, and this sport definitely matters a lot to me. So seeing it hurt itself and then claim that it's trying all this new stuff, like trying to get the game shorter. I don't want the game shorter. Trying to shorten the season. I don't want a shorter season. I just want umpiring fixed, man. Everybody needs to respect the umpire's decision, but it needs to be right to do so, or at least close. And that's why I feel like I've been, you know, I have not really. I've experienced a championship in three of the four major sports, but I haven't really experienced one. If you know what I mean. Like I was too young to fully grasp my favorite team won. Like if any four of my favorite teams, I know this is the same case for you. It would be a memorable experience, very memorable. And
If the Cowboys somehow won a Super Bowl, I think I'd be shocked for like a month, just because I don't think the Cowboys will ever win a Super Bowl. And I'm starting to get hope. But then, like Rangers, I'd probably be very emotional. So yeah, I agree with you.
I'd be emotional
Stars,
probably with.
I haven't developed that relationship with the Stars yet.
You
I
would
think
still
it's
be
on the way there. Yeah, I'd be happy, but that would probably be the least emotional because I haven't created that relationship yet. I think the ages like 20 to like 40 is probably the sweet spot for when your team wins a championship. Or no?
Meaning, you feel the best?
Like, I think that's probably like the most impactful because like
I disagree.
maybe when you're like 15, but like when you're young, you don't understand.
The last championship I experienced was the 2011 Boston Bruins. I was 9. I didn't really grasp, even though that was my favorite team then. I saw it and I was happy, I guess you could say. But again, like you just mentioned, I was not as well versed in sports or cared about it as much and looked at all the stats and made sure I knew everything, all the players or most of the players' names, and tried to learn everything about the sport as I could. If one of my 4 favorite teams won, I would be over the hill excited. And luckily, 3 out of my 4 teams are very, very good. Um, all of my teams made the playoffs this past season, all of them. Of yours, 2 did. Yeah, 2.
Yeah, too.
No,
Mavs
1.
and stuff. Oh, I'm confusing 2 seasons ago. Stars making it
Technically,
to
that
the
was a year. I did ask a year ago to give you some.
So yeah, a year ago.
Yes,
Yeah, because I
but
was,
season ago, no, only 1.
yeah, only
Season
one.
ago for me, all my
And then we
teams have.
faced the Clippers, which is terrible.
All of my favorite teams have, and I feel blessed to get extra sports to watch. But for this series to end how it did, it's bittersweet. It really is. I wanted the Dodgers to win. I was rooting for them to win. I was happy when Scherzer was brought in, but to end it like that is terrible. It's terrible. The best team in baseball, which was the Giants during the regular season, got cheated out of a win. And I'm not going to call it like cheating, like the Astros cheating. It wasn't with malintent. However, I do think the umpire was just trying to be he wanted the moment to himself, and it wasn't close, and that's the reason why I say that. If you've seen the play, it is not close. If this happened to the Boston Red Sox and I was a Yankees fan and I was playing the Red Sox, I would still admit, wow, we are incredibly lucky that the play went our way, and I'm obviously happy that we won. But that's a terrible call. It's terrible. It's terrible. A play I can remember in one of your favorite teams recency, uh, Game 4 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 2020.
Yep.
Jamie Benn
tripping.
which really changed the entire series. Changed the series. The Stars win that game. They tied the series 2-2. Win the next game, which they did in overtime. They're up 3-2.
You
Instead,
can
they go down.
also do the tech with KP game 1. Remember the double technical?
Because it was game 1, it wasn't as impactful because that gave Tampa a 3-1 lead. If you guys had won that game in overtime, and they scored off of the penalty, it's literally direct. Like they are connected. The fact that they won and the terrible call, they're connected. Same thing with the Boston Bruins play that I mentioned in 2019. Our teams have been screwed a lot recently, but you don't want that to be the memorable moment. And the fact that it is hurts. Like if you go back to this Stanley Cup, there wasn't really a big bad play. A ref making a big mistake in my mind. I don't.
No, the main thing is just the LTIR, which we have disagreed.
Yeah, but that's
with
not a ref. A ref wasn't the story, but it was in 2020. It was in 2019, and that really does hurt the validity of the sport. I don't know why I can't say that word for a second. Validity. Yeah, there you go. But this is why I think the NFL and MLB are tanking while the NHL and NBA are rising, is because it looks like refs are performing better right now in the NHL. Like this past season, like we said, there was no big major bad plays in the NHL playoffs. And in the NBA, there were some questionable ones. But when we got to the finals, there wasn't many bad calls, in my opinion. When the Suns and Bucks were going at it, I don't remember terrible flagrant calls or terrible calls that ended the game.
Yeah, I can't think of anything. There was just that out of bounds, like the constant review of out of bounds.
Yeah, but I'd rather.
But that's not. Yeah, that's nothing bad.
Yeah, it was a lot, but it wasn't bad, and that's why the NFL has struggled ever since the Rams Saints game. They have struggled so much, and that's why the NFL is losing attendance and losing rating points. And same with the MLB. The MLB, if they could just fix their umpiring issue and their cheating scandal. If the cheating scandal didn't happen, I think more people would be watching baseball. But they feel like everything's rigged. I would not love sports if I thought it was rigged. I don't. I don't think any sports are rigged. And so that's the only reason I could love it. Because if it was rigged, why would you watch? Why would you watch?
It's a good point.
I the reason why I don't watch movies all that much or watch TV shows as much as I used to is because I normally can predict the ending. I normally just know, oh, the good guy's gonna win.
Especially if it's
Yay!
a Hallmark movie. You can know the plot in like 2 minutes.
It's like that's why I'm not that big into Marvel right now. I used to be really big, but I can't do it because I know the ending normally. The good guys won. They survived. Yay.
You know what you would love? What If? Because I'm a huge Marvel person, but you would love What If. You would
Well, that's why my
absolutely
favorite
love it.
movie was Infinity War because I thought the good guys were gonna win, and then when Thanos won, I was like, "Oh my, no way!" And I really
Spoiler
loved
warning,
it.
by the way. Our bad.
Say again.
Spoiler warning.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it's been 2 years.
It's, it's not been 2 years. Has
That
it been
movie
2
came out
years?
in 2019. Yeah,
No, it did not come out in 2019. That's like 3 years ago.
that's 2 years. It's 2021.
No way. That is not 2 years ago. It's 2018.
Oh, it's 3 years.
Yeah, that's not 2 years ago. 2 years ago is probably Endgame. That's 2 years ago.
I
Wow.
don't know why those seem
That's
more
2 years
recent.
ago.
That
Seems like
seems.
4.
Oh, I thought it seemed more recent to me. I don't know. I just have a connection to those two movies, but and that's why I didn't like Endgame because when they brought Endgame, I'm like, yeah, I knew they were gonna bring certain characters into it. We're not really even talking about sports, but the reason why I love sports so much, and I think this is the same for anybody who loves watching sports, is that you don't know who's gonna win. And when the umpires or rules, I mean, you can bring the Des Bryant thing. The refs played it right, but the NFL rules were terrible, and it made it look terrible for the entire NFL. And you can't have moments like that. The memorable moment should be set by the players, or in some cases the coaches. I mean, look at Pete Carroll. Uh, not really a good reason, but he was really the story coming out of that. But at least it wasn't a ref. It wasn't the ref didn't call pass interference on that play. He just let it happen, and it wasn't pass interference because he was going after the ball. But I've heard some Seahawks fans say that was pass interference, even though he was going after the ball. But still, I'm really sad about this series. But we can move on to the ALCS and NLCS
Yes.
and
So
storylines for
both,
that.
yeah, let's move on. Both rematches. 2018, we'll save Braves and Dodgers for last. 2018 rematch of the ALCS. Red Sox versus Houston. You, of course, have different manager for Houston, but same manager for the Red Sox when it happened next, Alex Cora. And now it's Dusty Baker for the Astros. So we're both rooting for the Red Sox. We've already talked about our dislike, and that's putting it nicely for the Astros. But the Astros are very good. Red Sox, I think Devers has an injury, or is it Bogarts? I think there's something to do with an injury, if I'm
I don't
correct.
know.
Let me look this up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's gonna be a great series, and I'm really excited to see the offensive onslaught that's gonna happen. Both teams have been very hot offensively speaking, and that may result in some high scoring games. I think the Astros definitely have the advantage, pitching wise and hitting wise and experience wise, everything wise. But Boston has surprised me enough to say that they're still a very good team that has definitely a great chance.
Probably bullpen is what puts it over the top for Astros because they have a more experienced bullpen. Like we've heard so much about how the Red Sox kind of put this bullpen all together and it's playing well, but how long can that last, especially against a good hitting team? So that's something to look on. But now we go to the rematch just of last year. Braves versus Dodgers. I'm rooting for the Braves because I've realized I'm a person that likes sports chaos when it doesn't involve my team. Because I just really want the Dodgers to lose to the Braves because the Dodgers spent so much money to get Scherzer, Turner, way over the salary cap. We've talked about that a lot. The Braves lost their best player in Ronald Acuna. And then they lose Jorge Soler to COVID. He's out for a couple of games. So that was the best player, right? One of the best players for them right now. And then you're, of course, out, oh my gosh, Soroka with the Achilles. And then just what they did at the deadline and how they went on such a hot streak is great. Dodgers, though, they do have the start. They have the talented team. Braves, I hope they can pull it out. And the Braves were up 3-1 last year, so hopefully they can finish. What do you have to say?
Yeah, you said luxury tax. I mean, you said salary cap. He meant luxury tax, but still, the Dodgers are definitely the team that is the favorites. Um, no matter how controversial their win was, they're still a really good team and best pitching staff in baseball right now. I mean,
As it should be, given the money.
true, true. Scherzer starting game one against Charlie Morton will be a great game, and I'm really excited to see how this Braves team is going to perform, especially with Jorge Soler out. They're going to start Jock Peterson in the outfield, especially because Jorge Soler's out. So they're going to start Duvall. Yeah, they're hot, and their pitching's also been hot. So I wouldn't necessarily be surprised if they surprise some people.
I think one thing to mention, though, is the runners in scoring position. We saw that with the Brewers and the Braves. They all left runners. Same with the Dodgers.
Everybody on the
left
Braves
runners.
except for Jock Peterson.
Yeah. Jack Peterson's. Those pearls are magical. But the runners in scoring position, you need to fix that, especially more in the Braves case, because given the star-studded pitching, there are only going to be so few chances that you have runners in scoring position. And then if you capitalize on that, that will help you win the game. Because the Dodgers have such a talented lineup that they'll have more chances as the Braves pitching could run out of magic. Like bullpen wise. Because you do have some good starters, but that's my point. Like you need to capitalize runners in scoring position, all teams, but more specifically for the Braves, given who they're facing pitching wise.
Yeah, taking advantage of mistakes is always been the mantra of sports, and especially for the underdog. If the underdog can take advantage of any mistakes that the favorite makes, anything can happen in a series.
Well, we will help. We will discuss how the NLCS and ALCS go. Make sure to check out our other episodes. Make sure to check out our tweets on Outsiders Opinions 21, or Outsiders Pod 21. And thank you for listening to Outsiders Opinions.